Hello, my name is Jay, and welcome back to my Tech Vault. And today we're going to talk about spray painting and painting cases, old cases, to make them look more modern. And basically what I'm going to do today is I'm going to kind of talk through my experiences with spray painting this case. So long story short, this is a case I was able to save from the trash. And one of the things I wanted to do was, since it had this side panel that was actually see-through, I wanted to go through and actually make this paint this and make this look really nice. And I chose a nice, glossy black finish. And there was a lot of problems with this, and I want to kind of go through those. So first off, this case, I believe, is from the 90s, and 90s early. A couple things. First off, number one, it's USB 1. And obviously with USB 1, it's got not really worth spray painting all the USB ports and stuff, because you're really not going to use them. That's really not any speed benefit, and it's better just to use whatever you have in the back of your motherboard, because anything that's in this case is not really going to be worth plugging in a USB drive to and transferring stuff from, because it's just not fast enough. A couple other things though is the interfaces. Besides that, like the power and stuff are of course okay. A lot of these cases though, especially the older ones, actually come and tend to have like these, I call them rainbow wires, but they're pretty much assortment of different color wires. One of the things I kind of did is I removed all the front I/O and then spray painted it. And I guess one of the biggest problems with that is I wish I kind of spray painted the wires, because they kind of do look like an eyesore. This side panel had its own fair share of issues. It was a lot of taping to get this weird shape. Also, it kind of did end up still getting a little paint on it, which is kind of sad as well. So some of the things that I also want to make sure that I point out. So when you're doing this, if you're interested in doing this, I would recommend doing this on a case that's got recent hardware in it, stuff that's still going to have value, like headphone jacks and USB 3. If you really want to spray paint it, I'd definitely recommend doing it. Just grab some tape for those kind of cases, and make sure you take off everything. The I/O shields, expansion slot covers, all that stuff. Take all that stuff off and spray paint that so it all blends in together. Another big problem with this as well is that when you start spray painting and stuff, you let it dry. This has been drying for a couple of days, and this is dried. It scratches extremely easy, especially if you have something like I don't know the best way to describe it. It's like silver underneath. If you get a single scratch, you can see the silver underneath it. And that's really annoying, especially because, when you're taking the case on and off, and you're taking this panel off, not only is it extremely hard to get off, when you take it off, you've already got, paint coming off here, you've already got paint coming off here, and this is dried, by the way. I'm not just, saying this. So, I spray and paint in the back of this, and it's already got paint coming off. And I did make sure I cleaned this all. This was all clean surfaces. But one of the other problems was there were some places that did still have a little bit of dust residue on them. And basically when I went through and I spray painted them, they had a lot of issues with dust getting caught in there, and then causing the paint not to stick as well. You could have also sanded it down. That could have been another way you could have done this. I just basically got some, I think Rust-Oleum, I don't even know how to say that, Rust-Oleum paint, and basically just kind of went to town on it. Honestly though, looking over this, it's not something I'm not happy with the final product, but I think that if someone that really wanted to take, if your budget is below $100, this may be an option. Otherwise, please go get a Cooler Master case, because as you can see, I didn't spray paint the insides, and that was the original color. And honestly, I wanted to keep a lot of the cool details, especially since this is an MSI case, and basically just go through and use it. And honestly, it did turn out really good in some places, like the back here. The I/O and stuff looks really nice. Like this all back here looks extremely nice. It's sticked well. It works nicely. But in parts where it's constantly coming on and off, the paint starts peeling, and you really start seeing through. And especially in the matter of making a case that's going to be a centerpiece of your gaming setup, this is not something I'd recommend. And I'd just say, if you want to paint, obviously decals and designs are relatively fine. I mean, you could get some nice decals and go to town on them. But as for the whole case, especially in areas where you're screwing and stuff, the standoffs and stuff, it's just not a good idea to paint that. And so for an overall full, case painting, I don't recommend it. I'd say either go with some decals, work with what you got, or find another case, because they're only like 30 to 40 bucks on a really nice one, like a Cooler Master Master Box Light, which is by far one of my favorite cases, as well as the TD500 from Cooler Master, are two of my favorite cases that I've worked with. They're absolutely, really pretty, and have RGB and stuff in them, and this isn't really worth the time, in my personal opinion. But I did want to give this case the justice it deserves, especially because it does have a nice side panel. Not too happy with how it turned out. Might go through and redo it some other time. But I hope I was able to help you in your process of just kind of my personal experiences doing this. I guess my summarization would be just make sure you clean down your case. Make sure your case is dry. Make sure it's sanded down a little bit. And also pick out a paint that's not as or a little bit more resistant to scratches and stuff, because honestly you're going to see it through. And also try to avoid having to paint areas that are a lot of, I guess, movement, a lot of contact or friction, like the side panel and stuff. Maybe avoid doing that so you don't end up having to repaint that every so often. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, of course, give the video a thumbs up. As always, check out my channel for other cool tech-related news, videos, reviews, etc. I've been working on this setup for last couple weeks, and it's about finally done. I've got some cameras to mount up on the roof, and then I'll be done with this. And that was kind of a little vlogging, couple series that I've been starting. But thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.